Today's topic, very important. Whom can you sponsor if you are an American citizen? And whom can you sponsor if you are a green card holder? And to add that extra flavor to today's show, I may also be able to tell you how much time it's going to take for some of these categories. I will go through everything slowly. So, number one, you are an American citizen. Whom can you sponsor? Number one, the beauty of an American citizen is that you can sponsor a lot more relatives than you can sponsor if you're a green card holder. So if you're an American citizen, the first thing the law allows you is to sponsor your fiance. So an American citizen is allowed to sponsor his fiance, but a green card holder is not. So what is a fiance? When you apply for the K1 visa, a fiance is a person with whom you intend to get married to, and that person can be a member of the same sex. So now the law changed, and under DOMA, so the good news is that DOMA has been abolished, and since DOMA has been abolished, the good news is that you can sponsor basically your fiance who can be a member of the same sex. So that's point number one. Secondly, if you are an American citizen, you can also sponsor your spouse. And when you're going to sponsor your spouse, the good news is that the children of your spouse can also come into this country, especially if they are under the age of 18. They can also be included in the application and they can qualify for a green card. This is excellent. So they can come in, they get that benefit. So that's what you can do as an American citizen. The other beauty of being an American citizen is that you can sponsor your unmarried children under 21, your married children under 20, over 21, and you can sponsor your parents, which is not allowed if you're a green card holder. So you can also sponsor your parents for a green card, and above all, you can sponsor your your married children who are over 21, and you can also sponsor your brothers and sisters if you are an American citizen. So therefore, I tell people, whenever it's time for you, apply for citizenship because you can sponsor a lot more people, extra relatives, if you are an American citizen. However, this benefit may not be the same if you are a green card holder of the United States of America. Now, if you're a green card holder, you can still sponsor quite a few relatives, and things have changed. So, for example, recently we were helping someone who said, Mr. Gehi, my son or my daughter just missed coming to America because they're over 21 years of age and I just got my green card. The good news is that there may be light at the end of the tunnel and you may be able to get your child who crossed 21 if you act immediately if you're a green card holder. That is a very strong possibility that he may not have to wait until you become a citizen. Therefore, it's important for you to discuss your case with a very good immigration lawyer. So there are possibilities in such cases. The other thing is that if you are a green card holder, you can sponsor your spouse, and it's taking approximately 1 year for most spouses to come from abroad. And what happens if you're a green card holder and if your spouse is on a visitor's visa in America? She may qualify for a green card within 1 year, provided she's legal in this country. How about her children? And that can be your children or they may be your stepchildren. If they are under 21, they may also qualify for a green card within 1 year. It all depends on how the priority date keeps moving under the Immigration and Nationality Act. Therefore, it's very important for people to know Section 201 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, 203 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, They need to know the categories and what is F1, what is F2, what's F3, what is F4 very well before you actually kind of work with sponsoring your relatives. Now, there are quite a few important factors that one has to know when you're sponsoring your relatives. So this is where the problem comes in. This is where experience comes in. This is where a good immigration lawyer who's been doing it for a long time will be able to help you. So sometimes you have your relative over here, and you applied on your own, and you call up immigration, and they told you this is the procedure, and your relative was in America, and you finished up the paperwork, and the mistake you committed is you asked your relative to go back without checking whether they're doing the right thing or not. And now your relative went back and he is stuck in that country. Now, this is something that happens when you have done the paperwork on your own, or you work with someone who did not know the Immigration and Nationality Act very well. Recently, a person told me, I called immigration and I checked with them and I did exactly what they told me to do. They are not your lawyers. So therefore, if something goes wrong with your case, it becomes your responsibility. And now, your relative did not get the green card in America. The case got denied, or he's gone to the consulate, and now the consulate is telling him that your relative is subjected to the 10-year bar because the paperwork was not okay. Sad, but that can happen a lot. So be very careful when you are applying for your relative's green card, especially if your relative is out of status in the United States, he's overstayed his visa, or if he has been ordered deported. So you have to be very careful. Therefore, I tell people that do not play with your immigration paperwork. It can become very complicated at times. And especially when people ask me this question about money. Let me tell you one thing from all my experience. It doesn't matter in which state you are, this may help you all. If your case is handled by an attorney from the beginning in any state where you are, we handle cases from all over the US and the world. When you take care of it from the very beginning, the good news for you is that you may spend less money. But if you want to stay on for too long, the problem is, and if you do it on your own, the problem is that if you kind of basically mess up the case in any way, you may wind up spending more money. You may wind up spending more money, and at the same time, your relative may not get the desired result. So be very careful. Immigration laws can be very tricky, especially when you're sponsoring relatives. I know of a person who is a green card holder. He sponsored his wife, and the wife was out of status. He did the paperwork, and then he asked his wife to leave the country to get the visa stamped. When she went there, she couldn't come back because she had overstayed her visa for a long time. Now, in those cases, you have to apply for the waiver and you have to wait until the waiver gets approved. It can become a harrowing experience. So be very careful when you're applying for your relatives. And as I mentioned, you can sponsor your relative. And a little bit about the timings. Since this is going to be a long session, we'll be splitting this particular program into two parts. And the second part is also going to continue next week about the timings of how long it's going to take for your relative to sponsor. That's going to be our next show, which is very important. And the next show is going to be the visa bulletin, what's going on in the family sponsorship category. And again, we're going to go on with your visa bulletin in the employment-based immigration category. So a lot of good things are coming. And thank you for the tremendous support that we've been receiving from each one of you. Let your friends know that we're going to have this regularly. Spread the word, spread the message, be there. So let's start taking some questions and answers from all of our friends who are actually sending these questions. So I'll take some questions, then we'll come back again. Now, my wife and I are aliens working in the US. My 1-year-old son was born in America and is a US citizen. Can he file an immigration petition for us now? The answer is no. A child born in the United States or an American citizen who's your son or your daughter can only apply when he or she is 21 years old. Because your son is 1 year old, wait for 20 more years, then he'll be able to apply. Or look for some other options. So that's my answer to the question. I'm a permanent resident. May I file an immigration petition on behalf of my parents? My answer is no, you cannot. I'm a US citizen. What documents would I prepare for the immigration petition for my alien spouse? Number one is there's a lot of documentary requirements depending upon the facts and circumstances of your case. Better thing for you would be to retain a lawyer, especially because when you go for the interview, when you're missing one or two documents, the officer has the right to grant your case or deny your case or issue you an RFE, which is a request for evidence. Be very careful with that. I'm a lawful permanent resident and the step parent of my wife's child. What documents must I prepare for this child? So if it depends. Number one, you need to first make sure is whether you establish this step relationship, and that depends upon the age, that depends on where the child is located, and whether he's living with you, whatnot. So that's the first step of the case, and if you establish that, then you need to go to step two of what documents may be required. So a lot depends upon the age, the residence of the child, how long the child has been living with you, and whether you were able to establish that relationship under the Immigration and Nationality Act, then you'll be able to figure out the documents. Next step. I'm a US citizen and filing a form for my alien relative on behalf of my son will turn 21. Oh yeah, if you're a US citizen and if your son is turning 21, make sure that you retain a lawyer because the time is going to be very critical. Because if you do not file it on time or if you miss something, the sad thing is that then your son or your daughter will have to wait for a very long time and he will be covered under the Child Status Protection Act. So be very careful with that. I'm a US permanent resident. May I apply for my brother? My answer is no, you cannot. I got married in Pakistan and my wife is in Pakistan and I became a US citizen recently. Can you sponsor her? Yes, you can sponsor your spouse in Pakistan. That's not a problem. Since you're a citizen, even if you're a green card holder, you would have started this process with a lawyer. That would have saved you time. That's my answer to your question. My father is a US citizen and he's filing for permanent residence for me. I'm married with one son and one daughter. Should my father separate the petitions for my wife and daughter? No, he should not. You need to seek assistance from a lawyer because this whole case can kind of become complicated if you don't follow the right procedures. I got my green card 1 month based upon employment-based immigration. EB2. 2 months before my I-140 was approved, I went back to my home country and married my girlfriend. How can I bring in the US? There is a faster way to get it. You'll have to contact us, send us your information at info@gehilaw.com or call us at 718-263-5999.com, 718-263-5999.com. Call us on that number or you can visit our offices. If you cannot, we can arrange a Zoom consultation with you or you can email us, as I said, at info@gehilaw.com and our website is www.gehilaw.com. So even if your spouse is an American citizen, he has sponsored you abroad, we can still answer your questions. So the good thing about Gehi and Associates is that we are extremely high tech. Doesn't matter where you are. If you're in Korea and you're Haseyo, if you are in Japan, my answer is Konnichiwa. And if you're in Saudi Arabia, my answer is Kaifa Alak. We handle cases from all over basically the Arabic world. And if you are in Haiti, my answer to is Koman Talebu. If you're in Central America, of course, ¿Cómo estás? That's my answer to you. Muy bien, and habla español poquito. And if you're in the Philippines, again, ¿Cómo está? If you're in Italy, again, ¿Cómo está? We are here to help you. So it doesn't matter where you are, or we'll be happy to basically assist you. So now, and even in Jamaica, doesn't matter if you're in the Caribbean, how are you? We can handle your case. Now, or even in the UK. Now, next question is that I'm an Indian American. A few years ago, I applied for my five siblings back home. It's been a few years. You need to go online and check your status. It's taking around 12 years for this visa category, approximately 12 to 14 years for the category to come up. But it's a good way to apply and kind of keep the case in the pipeline. I'm a US citizen filing for an I-130 for my wife who's right now here in her home country. However, my connects to the US. All right, so your spouse can come in over here, but she'll have to disclose that there's an immigrant visa pending, and the consulate has the right to grant or they may deny the visa. Can new immigrants work legally in the United States? Of course, if you have a green card, you can work. If you have employment authorization, you can work in America. What if the beneficiary needs to travel overseas while waiting for the green card? There is a way under the INA, under 212, you may be able to apply for parole, and if your parole is granted, then you may be able to travel depending upon the facts and circumstances of your case, and especially if your application is pending for adjustment of status under 245A of the Act, you may be eligible. All right, so that was the answer to that. What are the current minimum income requirements? Under Section 213A, or 13A of the Immigration and Nationality Act, your income requirements are governed under 213A. Depending upon the number of members in the family, then only you'll be able to move further. That's very important. I'm a US citizen and I've been out of work for several years. Can I sponsor my wife? Yes, you may be eligible. You need legal help in that. Be very careful, but it's a possibility that you may be able to get a spouse. And it depends on the co-sponsor, but I think it's better for you to, speak to a lawyer, or you can email us at info@gehilaw.com. I have no income and cannot find a co-sponsor. What else can I do? That is a very difficult question. And if you have property or if you have assets, then you may be able to kind of still get your spouse over here. So it depends on, there are ways, even if you don't have an income, if you have a property, if you own a house, there are ways for you to still qualify your spouse. And a lot of it depends on, your lawyer, depends on the time you put in. And there was a very interesting question I got from a viewer from last week's show. There were 4 questions I got actually. One of them was that I'm based in Chicago. Can you handle my case? How does that happen? So let me tell you the mechanics of what we do. We schedule a Zoom with you. We can talk to you. We set the appointment with you. And that's how we begin. Because even right now, a lot of our clients are not from New York. Not only from New York, of course, they're from all over the US. Even if you're in Australia, if you're in New Zealand, if you're in Vietnam, if you're in Cambodia, or if you are anywhere, because the other name for Vietnam is Cambodia, as you know. So let's talk about Cambodia here. Or if you are in any other country, in Malaysia, we can still kind of basically Zoom you and we can take it from there. So with the US, that happens every day. Los Angeles, you're looking at South Carolina, North Carolina. We do Zooms every day. How do you do that? Very simple. Go to info@gehilaw.com and just let us know that we'll have a Zoom request. And also very soon, we are including that on our website. You'll also be able to schedule a Zoom from our website very soon. So thanks to my team, especially Bano, Priyanjali, Tariq, and Shrisha, and others who worked very hard to make this happen. And of course, Dean, who's been a very important part for us to be successful in getting things done. So we are working on that, and that should be in. So folks, I know you all have a lot of questions. Today's show is live. Time is running out. So very important. A lot of people have asked me, how can I know a lot more about immigration law? This is the latest edition of my book, Immigration for Everyone. This is up on Amazon. How do you find this book? Just Google Immigration for Everyone by Attorney Gehi. Very simple, put it on your Google thing or go to Amazon and say Immigration for Everyone. This is the latest edition. This contains a lot of information about immigration law for people who are abroad, especially who want to come to America under different categories. It's in English. You can get it from Amazon. If you're in Australia, New Zealand, France, Germany, Japan, Italy, anywhere in the world, Jamaica, Trinidad, Suriname, wherever you are, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. This is a fantastic copy for you, and this will give you a very good idea about the immigration laws of the United States of America. So we also have a hard copy and a soft copy, so you can get it and you can take it from there. Now, very important, the question was, we also have an ebook. It's real simple. It's 50% off right now. So if you buy it, you'll get a 50% off. We can go over there and get the book. And someone asked me, how do I reach you, Mr. Gehi? You have a very complicated case. And when the case is extremely complicated, I love to get involved in those cases. And the person asked me, what kind of cases fascinate you? I do a lot of cases, marriage-based immigration cases, wherein you did not appear for your interview, number one, and your case got messed up. You got a denial notice in the mail, and immigration has told you to leave the country. And when you went for the interview, marriage-based immigration interview, you failed your immigration interview. Or your spouse had an interview abroad, or your relative had an interview abroad, and he's stuck before the consulate. You went back and you're stuck over there, you want to come back to America. You are in deportation proceedings. You have been ordered deported from the United States. You're married to an American citizen. This is where I come in. Anytime the case gets complicated, the secret is info@gehi.com. Send us your email. We will get back to you. We'll make sure. And the easy thing is just describe your question and tell them that you want to discuss the case with Mr. Gehi. We'll have a Zoom meeting with you. We'll make sure that we at least answer your questions. And basically, the law firm's consultations are free in most cases, but in certain cases, depending on your questions, we'll let you know what we can do. Or at least someone from the office will talk to you free of charge. If I don't, someone else will for sure. Now, few other questions is that we'll talk about next time is how long is it going to take for you to sponsor your relatives. So next show is going to be the visa bulletin with Attorney Gehi with reference to family-based immigration. So keep sharing this video. Don't forget to do that. And if you like us, thumbs up will be great. And if there's anything else, let us know how we can, make sure that we make life easy for you. So next week, again, your questions and my answers on our next Zoom show. And don't forget the visa bulletin with Attorney Gehi, how fast it's going, when your turn is going to come up, when your relative's turn is going to come up. This is great for people who are abroad and are waiting anxiously to see what's going on with the case. The instant program constitutes an attorney advertisement under the laws of the state of New York. Prior results do not guarantee future outcome. The information shared in this particular program is general in nature and does not apply to any specific facts or circumstances unless and until an attorney-client agreement is entered into between the parties. Thank you for watching. Share this video, and if you like it, that'd be great if you can kind of click on the like. It's always fantastic. Next week, same time, same place, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Attorney Gehi, and our show is Green Card with Gehi. Thank you, folks, for watching.